faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Geez, just a locomotive? People in the 40s needed bigger imaginations.
Born on the far-off world of Krypton, the infant Kal-El was sent to Earth by his parents, narrowly escaping Krypton's destruction. Raised by farmers as Clark Kent, he eventually became Superman, champion of the oppressed, the man of tomorrow.
If you've only seen the movies, forget him. Comic book Clark's not the perfect Boy Scout, and he's definitely not Jesus. Wait, weren't the guys who made him Jewish?
Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster were sons of Jewish immigrants and grew up in a time when anti-Semitism went largely unchallenged.
And then that ugly mustache showed up.
Understandably seeking escape from some truly terrifying horrors, the pair created Superman to be a simple solution to overwhelming problems.
A hero who could defeat any evil by just punching it. Hell yeah, that's how I live my life.
After almost 9 decades, Superman has been many things. At the core, his story is one of a refugee, a child who lost his home, left to the mercy of alien people. This new world accepted him, raised him, gave him a new home, because helping others in need is the right thing to do. That's why he became a superhero, the first superhero.
Everything's gotta start somewhere, but he was the first one to really take off. I mean, not literally. It took a while, actually, before he learned how to fly.
In fact, when Clark discovered his Kryptonian heritage, he struggled to accept it and subconsciously developed mental blocks, severing him from his true power, which he would uncover throughout his life.
He's strong enough to shoulder press the weight of the Earth for 5 days straight, or crush coal into perfectly cut diamond.
That's not how that works.
He's fast enough to reach the edge of the universe in seconds, or even break the bonds of infinity. Wait, he can do all that, but Batman can punch him out? Really?
You're probably thinking of Elseworld stories outside main canon like Dark Knight Returns. It's a good question, though. Superman's powers have fluctuated over time for a variety of reasons. However, for Death Battle, we take the characters at their best.
Yeah, like how his breath is so powerful he can sneeze away a solar system, or blow air cold enough to freeze ghosts.
Speaking of, his X-ray vision doesn't just see through walls. He can see through your own body and mind to examine your soul.
And yet, he can't see through lead. That's okay, though. He can just burn through it with his face. Since he gets his power from the yellow sun, his heat vision burns with the fire of a star. And if beams aren't enough, he can blast it out of his whole body for a super flare. It used to totally drain him, but he's learned how to control it.
Simply put, Superman's powers defy physics. My favorite examples of this are when he rebuilt the reality-warping miracle machine from memory, or punched Brainiac so hard every version of him felt it through all of time, or when he gained 10 years worth of medical training through only 5 minutes of reading and then successfully performed lung surgery.
Nice. My favorite example is when he smelled brownies in North Dakota from orbit.
Even beyond his powers, Superman is no novice when it comes to the intricacies of battle.
He's trained in Kryptonian martial arts, which uses Chi, or as they call it, Shriar. He even got summoned to Asgard to fight demons with Thor for 1,000 years.
Superman can resist being erased from existence, such as tanking Darkseid's Omega Beams. Even Retcon and the Time Trapper, both of which hijack and alter timelines, can't touch him. Not because of his powerful mental defenses or healing factor, but because he's a cosmic linchpin in the greater metaverse.
Timelines literally revolve around him.
But let's address the S-shaped elephant in the room. You may have noticed we've covered a variety of Superman eras. Superman, and DC Comics as a whole, have gone through multiple retcons.
Golden Age, Silver Age, Pre-Crisis, Post-Crisis, New 52, Rebirth, and so on.
It would help to know which one is the main Superman, right? Well, they all are.
Yeah, the latest reboots basically said everything in the main series is kinda canon, even when he had wacky powers like changing his appearance with a super muscular control. Ew, I guess he can still phase through almost anything, even people.
Look, if you really dig into it, this isn't new. Plenty of characters have recalled events from supposedly retcon timelines before.
Yeah, post-crisis Supes did start as less powerful than in pre-crisis, but that was because of the mental blocks.
Though he's not a complete composite, there's so many other Supermen out there.
Future Superman, Big Robot Superman, Commie Superman, Dinosaur Superman. There's a bunch.
Still, this new canon has affected his abilities. For example, he and other Kryptonians can effortlessly travel through time. And while Superman's powers stem from the Earth's yellow sun, sun, exposure to a blue star increases them even further. In fact, upon visiting a white star, he attained a whole new level of power.
When that old baldy Lex teleported him to another galaxy, Superman just popped back up, saying space-time has lost its meaning for him. He really just said that.
Remember, Superman defies physics.
Like when he used heat vision to restart the universe by making an all-new Big Bang.
We've seen that his universe has a radius of at least 100 trillion light years, but we can calculate a more exact figure. The DC universe is 15 billion years old and expands at 60 trillion light years per half second. This means its radius must be over 50 nonillion light years across.
What? That's 31 zeros, and Supes helped make that happen.
Well, about 1/5 of it. That's still immense power, but if you want something bigger, here's the Anti-Monitor blasting Golden Age Superman with all the energy of the antimatter universe. And then Superman,
punched him so hard it kickstarted another one of those reboots.
Now, Superman does have weaknesses. There's kryptonite, of course, and exposure to red starlight can fade his powers over time.
Not all at once. He has been able to move planets around while under a red star, so...
And everyone knows Superman can't deal with magic, but it's more accurate to say he doesn't have any special resistances to it. He's defeated plenty of magic users before, even Shazam.
Superman challenges the idea that absolute power corrupts absolutely. He's the goodest good guy of them all, but there is nuance to being good, even if he is the ultimate power fantasy, unstoppable and incorruptible.
Such as when he took on the World Forger, one of the most powerful reality shapers in all of creation.
Who was in the 6th dimension, crafting a whole new multiverse to replace the one Clark calls home. Who's gonna stop him?
Superman could, and the Forger knew it. So he was trapped on a world with a sun so distant he could never escape. Or so the Forger thought.
Instead, Clark found the strength he needed to fly at that sun, dip through a ton of stars, KO the World Forger, and shatter his new multiverse with a single punch. Because that's Superman, a simple solution to overwhelming problems.
He's the kind of person to save a cat from a tree, answer Christmas cards from strangers, and tow hundreds of planets to a new galaxy all in the same day. What's not to like?
Truth and justice has no better champion than the Man of Steel.
Thunder cracks, the heavens rumble, lightning blinds your eyes. You look up to the sky and pray for mercy because Thor is angry.
Well, you would have if you were a Viking. Nowadays, we don't have time for myths and legends.
Oh, don't we? For in the modern mythology of Marvel Comics, the Norse god of thunder was reborn.
And I'd wager this Thor is a hell of an upgrade.
The son of the All-Father Odin, Thor lived the life of a warrior prince, battling all manner of magical foe for thousands of years.
That is, until he got a little too big for his britches. So to teach him a lesson about humility and compassion and whatever, Odin exiled him to the worst place in the universe, New York. Ooh, you hate to see it.
Thor's Asgardian body is immensely durable, immune to disease, and capable of healing far faster than any mortal man.
He's also the literal god of strength. We're talking lifted a planet-sized serpent strong, knocking out the Phoenix Force strong, arm wrestling with Hercules and almost throwing the Earth out of orbit strong.
Notably, he was once blasted with a graviton bomb, which subjected him to the gravity of a neutron star. That's over 200 billion times greater than Earth's gravity.
And he's got the stamina to match. Nice. Able to fight for 40 days and 40 nights without stopping.
And what better weapon for the god of storms to wield than a sentient cosmic storm? Eons ago, the almighty god Tempest rampaged through the universe. It arrived in Asgard, and after a pitched battle, Odin managed to trap it within a block of the magical ore Uru that he would forge into his son's hammer, Mjolnir.
Oh, what more can be said about this beautiful thing? Forged in the heart of a dying star that went supernova and killed the dinosaurs, Mjolnir is maybe my favorite thing ever. He can channel bolts of lightning, manipulate the weather, open portals to other dimensions, and absorb and redirect energy attacks. Or just suck it out of your body against your will Well, like with this radiation dude, the presence. Not gonna be present for much longer, bud.
He's even used 2 Mjolnirs to absorb the power of the God Bomb, which would have killed every deity in existence across time and space.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. Mjolnir can transmute the elements, turn Thor invisible and intangible, let him travel through time, and even bring people back to life. And if Thor wants to fly, all he has to do is take it for a spin. Literally, he throws that motherfucker as hard as he can and holds on for dear life.
And when he does, it flies fast enough to cross the entire galaxy in seconds.
Only one problem. It's a little teeny. Unlike Thor's big-ass axe, Yarnbjorn, it's sharp enough to cut through celestial armor, and it's unbreakable, and an axe. Okay, look, it doesn't have a galaxy storm inside it, but it's still pretty cool. Oh shit, look, Wiz, I'm worthy.
No, you're not. There's no enchantment on the axe.
Well, then what the hell am I gonna do with this?
But should he face an enemy beyond the likes of even his world-shattering strength, Thor can harness his inherent godly power into one single ultimate attack, the God Blast.
God is right! Even Galactus, the devourer of worlds, shit his pants and bounced at the sight of such an awesome attack. Jesus, even the Avengers seem pretty small potatoes compared to this guy. Why'd he even bother with them?
Because not every problem can be solved by hitting it really hard.
Bullshit.
That was the point of Odin's lesson, to force his headstrong son to confront a world more complex and nuanced than his millennia of battle had prepared him for. Thor had to be more than a warrior, he had to be a hero.
He's battled Thanos, the Silver Surfer, and even the Sentry.
The Sentry is strong enough to contend with the Worldbreaker Hulk, a being strong enough to destroy the Marvel Universe over 100 times over.
And fast enough to demolish Ares, the Greek god of war, who can fight within the span of plank time. That's like the tiniest amount of time that we can imagine. There are as many planks in a second as there are grains of sand on Earth. Oh wait, did I say Earth? I meant 10 million billion Earths!
Thor has tanked disintegration beams trying to tear apart his atoms one by one, survived Mephisto trying to consume his soul, and even withstood a temporal rift that aged normal people to dust.
Oh, he's a hard bastard to kill, and even nastier when he loses his temper.
By entering a state known as Warrior's Madness, Thor commits an unpardonable sin in Asgardian society and willingly sacrifices his sanity for a tenfold increase in power.
Yeah, despite being a really sweet lunk that talks like he's in Masterpiece Theater and dresses like he's in What's Opera, Doc, Thor has struggled with being worthy of his father's legacy and throne. But no matter what unbelievable shit Marvel throws at him, Thor always rises to the occasion. Take the time this big machine called the World Engine was controlling Yggdrasil, the world tree that connects 10 universe-sized realms.
The World Engine's purpose was to mechanically trick Yggdrasil into disrupting the natural flow of Ragnarok, the end of the world.
So Thor just pushed it and literally reversed the flow of fate. That's right, he outmuscled a giant multiversal tree and prevented Armageddon. Not a bad Saturday.
And he'd go a step further and defeat the mysterious elder gods that manipulated the cycle of Ragnarok in the first place, ending it forever. So perhaps now when you look up at the thundering sky, you won't fear the god's capricious wrath.
Because you'll know it's just Thor, the god of thunder, kicking ass and saving the day.
The winner is Superman.